Hey guys, so I have a pretty big update that I just want to talk about, and I'm holding this because this is a key in what I'm going to talk about today. It's going to be a little more on the spiritual side, which is something that I know a lot of people may not like, and that's okay. A piece of hair sticking out. That's okay. This is just something that's really in my heart and has really moved me, and it's played a big role in everything that's happened today in the past couple of days. So as I'm filming this, today is Sunday, October 14th, 2018, and I, as you know, am going through some stuff where I'm mentally healing myself and physically. So what I started doing whenever this happened is I've had this journal and I haven't written in it until now because I just felt moved that this was the time to start writing in it, to document what is going on in my feelings and thoughts. So I've written in it a lot, as you can see. Like each day I've had something to write about, and I'm not going to take you through all of it, but basically I've written through quite a few pages. And I had a night last night where it got pretty deep and it got kind of negative, and just some old feelings about myself and where I'm going is pretty much the basic of what I was talking about, is my meaning and purpose and where I'm going in life and why I'm here. And it just kind of got difficult last night talking about it. And some of the things that I touched on was my purpose, and that I feel like I don't belong and I don't have anything to offer here on this planet, this world. And I just kind of talked about, I had a conversation with God through this, and I talked about how I just feel like I am extra baggage for my family to carry, and that I don't really have a purpose, I don't have anything to offer. And I was just asking God, why am I here? Why have you left me to keep on living here when I don't do anything but bring a burden on to people? And I ended it, I have to read it because I don't know exactly what I said. I ended it by saying, I understand if I have no work left here, and surprisingly, I'm okay with it. I tried, but I don't think I can rise again after this last fall. I raised a white flag. I tried. The war is over. I'm weak and can no longer put one foot in front of the other. My body is weary and tired. My mind completely gone. I'm sorry. And that's just what I ended it with. And I just went to bed really upset and sad and just feeling complete crap about myself. Since I'm talking about God, I'm going to try to keep mindful of my words. So that's my feelings, like my journal that I just get everything out in. Then this one is one I take to church and write notes in, since I started going to this new church that I've really found and loved. I'm not going to disclose the name though, because I don't really feel like that's a good idea. But as you can see, whenever I go, I don't know how well you can see it, but whenever I go, I write notes about what the preacher talks about. And he talked about Luke chapter 15, which isn't really relevant. I mean, it's relevant, but not for what exactly I'm going to be talking about here. And I'm not going to try to bore you and make you, not bore you, but I'm not going to sit here and try to preach to you. I really just want to talk about what stood out to me and what changed my way of thinking. And what he said was I'm talking about the preacher. The preacher told me, he said, if God doesn't change your situation, like if you're in a bad situation and he doesn't change what's happening, he's going to change your perspective to see a better outcome, to just see things in a different light. Whether it's, as I was talking about last night, I don't feel like I have a place, and I don't feel good, and there's nothing here for me. And after hearing him say that, he didn't change the situation. There's nothing been changed, but he changed my perspective on it. And now I feel like that was a sign to me. It was God speaking to me. And he touched on things such as, I'm trying to look here. I don't need this. I just realized I don't want to speak from a book that looks like I have notes. Okay, where was I at? Okay, so he talked about changing the perspective, and as you know, I'm in recovery, and that's just plain, that's just how it is. And I had to go out to eat for the first time today, and it was with my family, and this side of the family, I love them to death. There's nothing wrong with them, but in particular, they just have this way of making you feel like you're on the spotlight, and they all stare at me and make a big deal whenever I come in the room, and whispers and things, and it's very uncomfortable for me, especially in this time where I don't feel confident in myself, or I'm trying to change from, I was here like at the top, and then I came down here in about 6 months, and I'm trying to get back up here. So I'm doing a lot of changing. And whenever my food came out, it wasn't the right thing. So my sister got the waiter, and she was like, hey, this isn't right. This isn't what she ordered. Can we get her actual order? The whole room goes silent, and everybody's staring at me. And it overwhelmed me and made me feel like, I was like on the spotlight, and everybody was looking at me and just judging me because my food wasn't right, and they already say, oh, she doesn't eat, she doesn't do this, da 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 da. So then they had to make a big deal about it, and everybody was asking what was wrong, and it was heating up inside of me, and it made me start to tear up, but I had to hide it because I didn't want them to see. And my perspective in this situation was not good. It was, I want to go home, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be around these people, I just want to get out. And so I ended up leaving after we ate and just told them I had to go home and do an online test, which wasn't true, and I shouldn't have lied, but I did. But on the way home, I heard a song, and there's this one saying that I've always, over the last couple months, really had on my heart, and it is, be still and know. Just because it has a lot of meaning to it, and that's something I could talk about for hours. But the song was talking about be still and know, and it just brought on some emotions that really spoke to me from God, and it kind of brought me back to, he didn't change the situation, but he changed my perspective, because when I got home, let me back up. When I first left the restaurant, I thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to crawl back in my hole, just punish myself, not eat. I'm done with this. I'm done going out. I'm not doing this anymore. I hate everything. I'm done. I have no purpose. And it brought me back to those feelings from last night. And then I heard that song, and something washed over me, and it showed me that God may not have changed the situation, because it's still the same. Everybody still looked at me. Everybody was still staring at me the whole time through the thing. I didn't get my right food, but it ended up being fine. And it was a bad situation, but he personally changed my perspective on it to the point that it became where I told myself, okay, that happened. That was a bad situation. You had a little like backslip, and stuff happens. There's nothing you can do about it now. The only thing you can do is get up, pick yourself up, put one foot in front of the other, and keep going. Because you can't change it. Going back to that restrictive way isn't going to change that my food wasn't right and that everybody stared at me. Going back to that restrictive way isn't going to fix it. It's not going to give me purpose. It's not going to help me live my best life and be able to do things. In my perspective, it was like just a realization that God does, He's there, because there's no way any other day that I would have just changed my perspective on it after hearing that and just like brushing it off, because I'm not somebody that brushes it off, and I did. And I really think that's important, because before I started going to church and really getting into all of this, like my relationship with God and committing to this recovery, I had a lot of issues. Nothing ever went my way, and I ran from the Lord. I ran from God, and I've started to just raised a white flag is something I like to say. I just raised a white flag and I went back to Him. I found a church that I like. I committed to recovery, and even though I have bad days, the bad days are a lot easier because I have that relationship with Him and I talk to Him, and the amount of comfort that I get whenever I talk to Him is something that I just wish everybody would get. And I think we all have a purpose. I don't know what mine is right now. I don't know where I'm going to be led. I don't know what I'm going to be doing 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 3 years down the road. But I have that faith that I can stick with, that God is going to lead me there, and that everything's going to be okay. And that's really all I need. So yeah, that's just a little, didn't mean to preach there, but I just wanted to share that with everybody because it spoke to me, and I'm hoping that me talking about this speaks to somebody. And I don't know if anybody will watch this. I don't know if anybody will get anything out of this. But I love talking about my relationship with God and just life in general and how crazy things come together. So I can talk about this more if people wanted to, but I'm not going to make this video too long. So yeah, that's just a little check-in I wanted to do, and I hope this helped somebody and spoke to you. I don't even think I made sense in this whole video, but it's okay because I know what I was trying to say. But yeah, I'm gonna go and cook, not restrict, and I'm gonna have a good day, and I hope you do too. Bye.